So, good afternoon, Yorkshire Classic Cars Ltd fans, and welcome to what might be one of the sunniest days we've had for a while in sunny old Retford. There it is, look at that, bright and beautiful. Ignore the boot on my car, I sit in the boot when I'm having a cup of tea. Thought I'd do you a quick rundown. I obviously haven't done a video for a while for my own reasons, and I haven't really felt like doing a video of my own. So what I thought I'd do is, I have been working on the Ford Anglia. So this is basically a Ford Anglia update on where we are at and what has been done. I'll talk you through it. I'll try to keep the waffle pretty minimalistic, but I've got quite a lot done at the moment. So I'll show you what I've done, and then I'll start the video the next few stages proper once I feel a bit more like getting into it. Okie dokie. Right, so I've got the torch trying to help you. The sun's really bright today, so it's a bit difficult to see. But talking you through it, I've welded up all the steering box holes there. These were the holes for the original steering box. Those have gone. Obviously, these need to stay because the front cross member's going in. These repairs I did before, did a video on those, and I've sealed, cleaned, scraped, sealed, and red oxided here, right across the tunnel. So as you can see, now what I do is I tape these off and it leaves a nice straight line on the sealant lines. I only do that where it's visible because it takes quite a while to faff about doing, and sometimes actually it doesn't actually come out as well as you would think. So I've done that just around there where it's adjacent to the bulkhead, just to make it look a tiny bit more factory. We're not going for a factory finish on this car, so there's no real worries there. You'll see if we come up that I have completed the removable cross member. I'll whip that off in a sec and show you how I've done that underneath. Scraped the floors. As you can see, the floors are pretty much scraped back. I'll try and illuminate it with my torch. There you go. It is a very, 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 very complicated shape under here. There's lots of nooks and crannies, so it's very slow. I've welded up here. There where I'm pointing, that is welded up where the seat mounts that somebody had put in were. There's some there, look, you can see. That just needs the angle grinder running over it, hence why it isn't painted and sealed yet. Hence, you can see that as well. Usually I do that a bit neater than that, but these were ginormous holes, were about 1/2 inch across. As you can see there as well, there's one there. I've finished off this section here. I did that weeks and weeks ago, and I've cleaned it up, dressed it, sealed it. I've scraped and cleaned all the wheel arches at the rear, okay, into the rear chassis rails. Obviously, I only paint the bits that I've done. This is just a first coat. It will get at least 2 coats of primer, probably 3 before anti-stone chip. I've done the other side arch as well. That's all done in there. And again, I've scraped some of that. The paint at the back is a bit weird. This is more like, it's less like underseal and more like paint. Literally mountains and mountains of welding. I've done that. You can see where I've sealed it. I haven't painted it yet because I haven't scraped around it and wire wheeled it. The process I do with this, I scrape all this off with the, well, whatever works best at the time. Sometimes I use a scraper, sometimes I use a 1-inch wood chisel. I could use a larger one, but the thing is 1 inch fits into these nooks and crannies better. Remove as much of this as I possibly can. Do that cold. Then wire wheel it and then wipe it down with lots and lots and lots of thinner to make sure you've got rid of all this residue, because otherwise if you leave a little bit, like here where you see where I've missed a little bit there on the exhaust hanger, it kind of bleeds through the cellulose primer, so you've got to kind of get it all off. I've done the tunnel up here. I've welded up some of the holes that we drilled. You can see them there. I'm trying to point it with the torch, which doesn't really work. I've made some sections and sealed up. The hole had a massive hole just smashed in it for the gear lever. So I've made some sections to fill that there, and I've tried to roll them and keep them looking factory as possible. I've welded up the section here where the gear lever went originally. Now there's some dents here. I don't know if the owner wants me to get rid of those or if he needs those for the new engine and gearbox. So when he comes in, next time he comes in, I'll have a quick word with him about that. So you should be able to see there, it's scraping the paint off when I put the cross member in, but I've capped off the ends. I've cut them off here. Let me just clip the torch on, sorry about this. So I cut them off here because there's a reinforcing piece there, and I've just let a piece inside there, nice thick steel, and that was intended to, so when the cross member goes over, it needed to be no larger than this, so it allowed for any welding and distortion in the weld. This is just the stuff coming off, and then what I've done is I've put a step here, so a fold here, and then a curve, purely to try and put some extra strength in there. These have got crush tubes in. Don't know if you can see them in there, but there are crush tubes in there, so when the bolts tighten, it doesn't just collapse. It's important to put crush tubes in anything that's going to have a nut and bolt through it. It is a really tight fit to get in, but of course you don't want it to be sloppy in there. This is just where the sealer's moved on it there. Just a bit of sealer that's scraped up it. I will stone chip it, but when I actually put the cross member back in for the owner, what I'll do there is I'll put some grease on the inside, so when it slides over, it doesn't scrape it all off and therefore go rusty. But it does fit in there quite nicely. Oops, sorry. Edit that bit. It does go in there quite nicely. Like that. And then it's made to fit. So bringing it to the inside of the car, this is where I've welded up those holes in the floors. These were where the seat holes were and things. I've just put a tiny wash of sealer over them just to cover them up. They were a bit dented, so I had to dress them a little bit with the hammer. I've made a nice section to fit in there. That's the piece I just showed you underneath. I haven't painted it underneath yet because I just need to run the Y wheel over it. But that made a nice job in there. Tried to retain the original factory shape as close as possible. And just put this lowered section in. So hold the torch there, zoom in it a bit. You can see that it's recessed in. This is just seal around the edge. All these holes are now welded up in the floors. That's the piece I did a video on in that corner. You should be able to see there, that's where the hole was in the tunnel for the gear lever. That's the original factory hole, but as you can see, I've made the repair sections in two pieces. So it retains the factory line down there because the floors are made in two sections and joined here. This part was just stoved in with a hammer, basically. They sort of nicked it with a chisel and just hammered it in. So what I've done is I cut it out nice and square, measured up where I needed the hole to go for the new transmission. The owner supplied me with this, which is to fit a Mark II Escort Gator on there. And what I did was make this section to go in here, cut that with a hole saw, and then weld it around the inside and the outside, dress it back and seal it. And again, I've tried to retain that factory shape. But obviously, there's a weld across here. So I've sealed right across there because there was a join, but I have actually welded that up there just to retain a bit of strength, really. But yeah, so the floors are all pretty much, well, they are done. The only bit I've got left, which you will count as floors, are these holes here. Hoping you can see that. These holes here. And then I've got to go around to the bulkhead area and the inner wings. You can see the owner has circled lots of little holes. They all need welding up. I've done the front panel. So these are all welded up now. These were the holes where the grill was screwed to it, the pressed aluminium grill. However, one of them turned up a few issues. As you can see, there's lots of dent marks and horrible mess here. Don't know what's happened there. So I may need to, this filler is very, very thick here. As you can see, it's just peeling off. So this section is going to take a little bit of remedial work. There was quite a large hole here as well, but I've welded that one up. This has got dints and mess and bleh. So that's going to have to be fixed properly. What I've also done, if I pull you away, is I've enlarged the wheel well at the front there, the fender well, whatever you want to call it, the wheel arch. And what I've done here is I carefully marked off, again, very thick filler on here, weirdly. No idea why, no rust, no dents. They've just put a big skim of filler over it. You can still see it there, look, that's the thickness of filler. This isn't my welding, this is filler I haven't welded there. So what I did was mark a line parallel to the original body moulding. Scribed the line across there. A line down at 90 degrees here, a line down at 90 degrees here, and I've cut the original arch out, moved it all forward 30 millimeters, then cut a section out of some donor wings that the owner supplied me with. Sorry, I've been having a bit of a tidy in my workshop, so there they are. They aren't in the scrap pile, but they might be. I don't know if you want them back or not. Then what I did was I put a swage on the front section here. So I used I can't remember what you call the tool, but a swaging tool to swage the wing. And then I cut all the edge off that. So there's only about a millimetre radius round because I didn't want a big massive seam on the inside, but I did want to retain some strength there. Here I couldn't do that, so I just welded that together across the top. And then this section was cut from the other wing and put back in. If I show you inside, you should be able to see some of it in there. Made a really, really nice job, to be fair. I welded some of it on the inside as well. I welded right across the top, and I've stitched some of that down there just for a little added strength. I'm hoping you can see that. These will be, I'll just run the flat wheel over them and seal them before I put the anti-stone chip on. But I just figured it would add a little extra strength in the front here. But as you can see, I assume people have done this before because the owner was pretty adamant about the 30 mil. He seemed to know what he wanted there, so I assume he's seen it before and people have done it before. The reason for doing that is to allow a larger offset wheel, so a wheel that sits more flush with the arch, so that when you turn it, it doesn't catch the front of the arch and destroy it. But I think that came out really, really nicely. What I'm going to do is when I do the other side, because I haven't done the other side yet, I've done a lot of time on this car recently. I've been using it as a little bit of a head saver is probably the best way of describing it. It gave me some time to think and study things. But yeah, when I do this side, I'll probably video that for you, and you can see how I do it or how I approached it. I'm not saying it's the right way, it's just the way I approached it, and it worked. So yeah, this arch is left to do. So cut across there and down here. Obviously stay away from this flare here and cut it out. I'm not going to go through that now because obviously it'd be pointless doing a video. There's a few little sort of chips and blebs like this that I want to just investigate. Don't think it's rust, I think it's a run. This needs a bit of TLC, and I just want the owner to confirm some of these holes that make sure they might not have rings round. This bit of damage here needs welding up. So I need to just dress that with the hammers and then weld all that back up. Weld these up and some of the little bits and pieces. I will have to red oxide under the arches, but there's no issue there. I put that on just basically to see where I've been. Somebody else has done a little bit of welding down here, so I just want to clean that up and see how it is. It might need a bit more welding, get rid of these. Don't know whether I might cut that out actually and just put a flat piece in there. Again, depends on the owner. And then there's a tiny weeny little bit of rust here. Now looking at that, the section on the blue wings that he supplied for the sections of the wheel arches is good. So I may cut that piece off there and let it in, but that appears to be the only bit of rust in that. So I'll run the wire wheel over it and we'll see if it needs, if it'll just weld up or if it needs changing. Apparently it's quite a common rot area. So the blue wing, it might just be pure filler when I clean that up. So anywho, so yeah, that's where we're up to at the moment. So yeah, sorry I haven't videoed doing those jobs. I haven't really felt like doing it, if I'm really honest. However, I'm back in the workshop now. I'm getting on with stuff, and I'm back on the Anglia proper. I have a lot of other cars coming in. Weirdly, this week, my phone's been switched off for a while. And weirdly this week, just about everybody in the world's put the car in. So if they all turn up, there's going to be a lot of variation to show you, right from Stags to Porsches. Obviously, a lot of people often ask you about work. It doesn't always come to fruition for whatever reason. However, if it does, I will video all the jobs I do on those as well, because that will be interesting. I've also had a bit of a workshop tidy up. I've been trying to have a bit of a move round. I've got some new racking and stuff. And weirdly, all this stuff is my stuff, as in it doesn't belong to the business. It came from my house. So things like the old boot lid that I had on the Capri and stuff like that. So I've whopped it all on eBay. it's things like the fuel tank off my Skyline, and you know, stuff I won't be using again. But you kind of hang on to stuff, and it's like, well, I'll probably never use it, but inevitably, as soon as I sell it, I'll get 20 quid for it or something, and then somebody will come in and go, "You haven't got a," and then I wish I'd kept it. But either way, I will show you the Capri engine. The Capri engine is moving along. I've just loosely put the bought a set of bolts for this off a friend. Can't find them for love nor money, so it's actually a hold on with a pair of seatbelt bolts down there, which is embarrassing, but there you go. Did the job. I've had the clutch on, I've had the bell housing on, and I've worked out. I was a little bit embarrassed because I've been waiting for the sump to come back and everything so I could put the flywheel on, but of course didn't need that. And today the rocker cover adapters turned up, that about a few weeks ago. So there to put my Chevy Dart rocker covers on there. They may or may not work because upon an examination, the old plenum sits quite close there. If you move that hose, oops, excuse me, move that hose, it just sit quite close. It doesn't look close, but it will do with those big darts on, and these are 8mm thick plus extra gaskets. But we'll see. If they go on, they go on. If they don't, they don't. Somebody will get some cheap adapters. So yeah, that's the workshop at the minute. It's in a state of disarray in this corner because I've been putting these extra racks and moving everything around. But yeah, I'm back on it now. I'm back here working proper. I love my job. And you know. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. To be continued. Thank you very much.